Chris, what are you doing? I haven't seen you lift in like 10 years.
I'm trying to squeeze the water out of my arms because Sean told Cedric that you have to pose 18 hours a day. So I figured if I pose myself, 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day, and did the weights, I might be able to be ready for the stage.
It worked. I think I saw Cedric McMillan right over there.
Yes.
He's right here. Cedric McMillan. You gonna have him do dumbbells? Get him ready for Brazil.
Cedric. Keep posing.
Now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him do the keto ball. To get ready, 18 hours of the keto ball and 18 hours of posing a week. Get ready for the Brazil. That's what he needs because he's still got to be sharper,
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
This is Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com here at the Indianapolis 500. Oh, no, wait, we are here at FIBO 2013, and the men's and women's event has just wrapped up, and Cedric McMillan, as predicted, has delivered, and he has won his first FIBO Germany show. Chris, talk to me about what you like, what you didn't like here tonight.
What I liked is that out of this group that he was the best. I know that's lowering the bar. Mm-hmm. What I want to see is just improvement, and I'm never satisfied. So what I want to see is better condition and more fullness. I mean, it sounds like.
And Nunn said he's going to come in harder and bigger and fuller.
Oh, I'm sure he will. And I'm sure the guys.
That's what you want from Cedric. And I think all these competitors could have stood that. Maybe Johnny Jackson a little better conditioning.
Yeah. The whole lineup. I think to some degree for the whole lineup, the travel has some ding in their armor in terms of like condition, because you and I know, and Aaron knows, just traveling the distance, we get exhausted, and so their bodies get a little. They're not as fresh. The
stress goes up, water goes up, and then you got to try to suck water out. You get flattened out, so you wind up getting flat and dehydrated.
And the interesting thing is, although the lighting was terrible in prejudging, the commentary was right that these guys looked a lot. The whole lineup looked better in prejudging than the finals, and I think that has a lot to do with the travel. But
I thought the lineup tonight was really kind of horrible, actually, as far as conditioning goes. I don't know, like if Chris said is right, maybe the travel did wear on these guys. They got dehydrated. They had to wait backstage a long time, to actually get on stage and pose. Cedric McMillan, correct decision tonight?
Yes, definitely the correct decision. I said before I wasn't impressed with what he brought, and I stand with that, but he was the best bodybuilder today, without a question.
Were you shocked that Ed Nunn wasn't in the second position here tonight? I was kind of thinking that they were going to go with Ed. I thought Ed in the lineup looked very dominant up there. I thought he challenged Cedric a little bit, and I thought that Johnny was a little softer than I had seen him in the past. Why do you think that Ed Nunn wound up in third place here tonight?
I think that I had him second place, and I think coming out of prejudge, and what hurt him actually was the incredible intensity of the light made him look shallow in places where the incredible intensity of the light where Johnny's really thicker. It's nitpicking, but it actually helped him. So, I personally would have had Ed, edging out Johnny based on condition and based on, his lines just seemed fresher and cleaner than Johnny's.
Can Nunn come back in 2 weeks and do some damage? What would you like to see Ed change?
I'd like to see him fuller. I think if he came into Brazil fuller, then his muscles would have more pop to them, and I think that's the only thing that he was missing here. Is I wouldn't say he was flat, it's just that he was lacking like that oomph to give his muscle like that 3D look, because he's got the frame, he's got the small waist, he has good detail. He's always right there. He's either there or always right there.
Let's talk about Johnny Jackson. Johnny finishes in second spot here tonight. I know you were not happy with the Johnny Jackson version that he brought to this show. I have to imagine he probably wasn't either. Do you think he was surprised he took second here?
Sometimes with these guys, you never know. I mean, I don't know how realistically he can take a look at himself. Maybe it'll take a few days to look back at like some of the video that we shot, and to be honest with himself, maybe he already knows. But this was a very off Johnny Jackson. I think his legs were even further down. You said before that they were straight up and down, but if you watch the video, I mean, it looks like they're even less. Like,
there's no lines in them.
There's no lines, right? There's not. Sometimes he has great separation, even though the legs are up and down. He didn't have that here. And then he was holding fat. It wasn't that he was holding, like when we talk about Cedric, I don't think Cedric was holding fat necessarily. I don't think Ed was holding fat. I think Johnny was actually, 4 weeks out.
I think what happens to Johnny is because he's short and because his legs are a little smaller, when his upper body is too big or too fat, it makes his upper body look way bigger than his legs, and he doesn't have the detail, and I think it throws his symmetry off. That's in my eyes. And he doesn't look as aesthetic, I think, as when he's absolutely peeled. So I definitely would have had Ed in the second position, and I would have gone with Johnny in that third position.
I wouldn't have.
I would have gone with,
I wouldn't
you
have
wouldn't have.
Third. No way.
Where would you have put him?
Put Johnny in fourth. I would have put Robert Pietrovic, right? Is that how you say it?
Pietrovic? I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Let's talk about Robert. This is a guy who's got oodles of muscle. He's got tremendous conditioning. I thought his conditioning was a lot better at the prejudging. I thought he smoothed out a little bit here at night. Was fourth place the right position for him? And can you make an argument for him being third, even though his structure is definitely challenged?
I think I personally wouldn't make the argument for him third, but I can understand how other people would say, based on his condition, I just have to have him third place. So, I mean, I could live with it.
I've seen him harder, I think.
He's absolutely this is the irony of it. I mean, he was very hard, but when people were saying, "Oh, he's hard as nails," we have seen him truly as hard as nails, like smoking ridiculously hard.
Chris and I saw him at the EVL Pro in Prague last year, and he was one of the leanest I've seen on stage in person ever.
And he has to be the leanest guy on stage. If he's going to break that top 3 or 4 group,
I don't think he did there. He was fourth, wasn't he?
He's got to be crazy, because otherwise he structurally definitely is at a loss for these guys.
He has a back double that when he's at his all-time craziest, you could move him into second in a show like this.
You don't see his waist. Yeah.
That's right. But here, even though he's extremely hard and the hardest in the show from the front, still there's some the back is not. The way it's shaped and put together, when it's not crazy hard, then you start to see the structure flaws. So I think maybe that's what happened with the judges, is they dinged him on the structure.
Petrokovic, I think that's how you pronounce it. Let me look towards my German translator there. Pietrokovic, I'm getting from the Peanut Gallery. Let's talk about Ronnie Raquel, another German in the lineup here. Ronnie obviously brings better conditioning than we've seen in a long time. Looks kind of small to me, though. I don't use the word flat with him. Something just looked small about him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he looked like this is the best version we've seen in a long time. But at the same time, it's not the crazy blasting full Ronnie Raquel that we've seen. Although it's been the leanest, it's like he leaned down and shrunk down. He got leaner, but he gave up a lot of the dense muscle that made him Ronnie Raquel.
Well, he's a type 2 diabetic now, so maybe he still hasn't got his insulin correctly. He should give meals chocolate a call.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think that it was a very good thing that he didn't end up being in fourth place, because that's what we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I think it was a right fifth place.
They obviously, it looked like they made a switch with him and Robert, and I was very happy to see that. I think that it's the best Ronnie Raquel we've seen in a little while. He's had a bunch of bad outings, so at least he's on the right path, back to where he was.
I think conditioning is a better way for him to go rather than try to be too big. Let's talk about this Daniel Toth, because he's a guy that was kind of off the radar. You could call him the dark horse of the show if you want. The lineup was not that strong, but seems like he's got some potential. What do you like about his physique?
Everything, with the exception that his waist is a little wide from the front. Other than that, he is an excellent bodybuilder. I mean, excellent. He
kind of looks like a Jeff Long lookalike, doesn't he?
Very, very similar to Jeff Long. Very eerily similar.
Cedric was calling him dead serious. Jeff. He says, Jeff. No, he didn't know.
He was too hung up on my NASCAR announcing to worry about it. Can this guy be a contender, as Marlon Brando would say?
A contender for what? For winning a show like this?
Yeah.
Maybe. A contender for the Olympia? No. But he is a very good bodybuilder, and I was surprised to see. I mean, he has some very powerful arms, pecs. I mean, he's got some really good body parts. And like Chris said, other than the width and the waist, there's not a lot lacking at all. So
Jeff Long, who looked to me pretty good in prejudging, flattened out, smoothed out here at night. Is this a psychological problem he's got? Because I don't know how you go from being ripped in the morning to being smooth at night. I have to imagine that there's some kind of psychological component to this.
I don't know. You know what? There was
the Chinese buffet. I don't know.
There was Jeff Long A in the prejudging, and not Jeff Long B. There was Jeff Long, on multiple choice C, D, E, and other. It's amazing the difference between this is a one-day show with a prejudging that was in the afternoon, and a few hours later the night show.
Right.
And he looked great in prejudging, and he was flat and watery, and this is a tough show for someone like him to swallow, because he had to be coming out of prejudging thinking, I have a chance for 5th or 6th right on the end.
He's got to be upset. I mean, I don't know. The guy can't keep his conditioning. This is the best I've seen him in a long time. Let me ask you about Baito Atbaspor, who probably finished towards the end in third call out. He's a guy that we thought would be in the first call out. Why do you think the judges didn't like him? Let's speculate here.
You want to speculate?
Yeah.
Well, he is from Iran. I mean, you try to.
That's what it is.
I can't think of anything. You're making me really stretch. I can't think of anything.
Did his arms look a little suspiciously overblown?
From the front, if you're looking at the front of his arm, his bicep, there's some. I mean, if you're really trying to nitpick, like if you were saying like, there's got to be something wrong with him, I got to find it. From the sides, his arms look totally normal. From the front, like front double bicep, it looks a little bit, and there could be something unusual. But that's like you're really trying to find something. That's like the Iran thing,
If he did get overlooked at the prejudging, wasn't there a possibility of him coming back here tonight and being reevaluated, or do you think that there was just something the judges didn't like about him?
I don't know what was.
He's placed 3rd or 4th here before.
He was good enough to be. He was good enough to be right up there, and he was not bad enough to be anywhere near where he was called. That's more important.
I think I would have had him beating Ronnie Raquel, to be honest with you. I could have had him in that 5th spot.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of something that's a big negative to his physique. I mean, he's got crazy thickness, density. Yeah, but he's short without looking.
Right. He doesn't look.
He's as short as Johnny Jackson.
Shorter than Johnny Jackson. I bet. The problem is that we didn't get to see him next to any of those guys. So to say that he could be above one guy and maybe not Robert and maybe this guy, it's really hard to say. You never know. He could have been in 4th place.
How'd you like to see him at the New York Pro in the 212 class? I can make 212. Yeah, I bet he can't be that much over 212.
Can't be. It's impossible that he's that much over 212. He'd be super dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the women's fitness pro division. Bethany's sister Nina wins her 2nd pro show. Comes all the way from New Jersey to do so. Although she tells me she's German. I didn't even know she had a German background. So
Wagner,
she's actually
Wagner,
she's technically I guess hometown here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Somewhere around here. These parts somewhere around here. Yeah.
Her relatives.
I'm not surprised. Coming in, she's been on the rise for show after show. Her routines have been getting better and better. Her physique's always been top notch. So it's really not a surprise to see her take this thing. And this is her 2nd win. The Europa in 2010 was her 1st win. So it's a big deal for her, and to win in her hometown, right?
She's qualified for the Olympia, obviously. Ryle Grable,
Graber Vasanti.
Yeah, Graber Vasanti. Well, I like to use the original name because that never changes, Aaron. Remember that.
You're right.
Darielle Gaines will always be Darielle Gaines way after you're gone.
No, she's Darielle Singerman. No, we wiped that out. That's clean. That's done now. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Ryle Graber does what I thought no one was going to do, which was to beat Regina Del Silva.
Yeah.
Why do you think Ryle won here tonight over Regina?
I think that it looked to me like Regina. We didn't see the scorecards, but it looked to me like Regina won the physique round. Yes, the bikini round, and then in the fitness round, it looked like Regina must have won. Vasanti must have won, or Graber, if you want. Yeah. She must have won, and since that's worth more, that's just how it goes.
It's a 2/3, 1/3 split, and of course Regina Da Silva, who to me looked the best I've ever seen. I almost didn't recognize her. She was beautiful. Her hair and makeup was great. I thought her conditioning was good. I thought she really challenged Bethany in the physique round.
Yeah, she really did. She does have a small waist. Her abs look good. She looked very I don't want to say this because in bodybuilding it's a bad thing, but her physique flowed. It was like smooth. There was nothing loose anywhere. Yeah. So I definitely I approve of her physique and what she's.
I was impressed because I had never seen her this tight. Chris, final comments of the day. Cedric McMillan will be obviously in Brazil for the Arnold Brazil. We know that his goal in life pretty much is to meet Arnold, and I'm sure he's probably got some witty comment ready to say in response to Arnold's question. How do you look like this? How do you work out?
I'm sure. We'll a list of them.
Let's make a prediction here. I know you don't like to go on the record. Will Cedric come through and win?
Yeah, I think he'll win there. I think that this is a good confidence boost for him. I'm going to Brazil with him. And I think that, as you know, I told you he's retiring this week into reserve, so that's going to give him a lot more free time to prep for shows
where marching on the field
15 hours a day or 15 hours 4 days a week. Yeah. So I think that it's a big opportunity. I don't think he's going to let slip.
Well, Aaron, the European, or I should say the international tour, the Probiotica International RX Muscle Tour continues.
It continues. It never stops.
We get a week off. He goes to Orlando next week for the Euro.
Orlando. I go to Orlando.
And then,
see you there.
Yeah, you're going to see
oh, you'll be there
Yes,
too?
I'm-
Are you
yeah.
allowed there?
I'm going to see you there.
Then we go to Brazil, so to continue the international coverage.
And then,
so,
and then after that, I go one day later. I go to the Pittsburgh.
right, you'll be at the Pittsburgh Pro, and I'll be at the Emerald Cup for the Bros vs. Bros in the Emerald
Really
Cup
good,
there. So we have a lot of coverage coming up. I know we're a little tired. We don't even know what time zone we're in. We're here in Cologne, Germany, at the FIBO Power. I'm Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto, Aaron Singerman for RxMuscle.com. Thank you.